All right, this video is going to talk a little bit about your similar triangles, using the properties of similar triangles to solve for missing sides and angles, and then we're going to get into all around about looking at what happens with perimeter with similar figures. So to review with our similar figures, we are going to solve for all of this if triangle JLM is similar to triangle QST. So we're not trying to figure out are they similar. They're telling us they are similar. So because they are similar, we're going to find our congruent sides, our corresponding sides. We need to see here first letter J and first letter Q. So angle J is going to be congruent to angle Q. Second letter, should probably put an angle symbol there. The middle letter, L, will correspond and be congruent with the middle letter S. So angle L will be congruent to angle S. Last letter with the last letter. Angle M will be congruent to angle T. This will help us when trying to figure out these angle measurements here with the Z, okay? And so I'm going to go ahead and start with that one, finding what Z is. That's down here, all right? So to find Z, we're going to see here that angle L and angle S are going to be congruent. So all we have to do, and they didn't have the congruent marks, we can go ahead and put them in. We've got to put 3 in. So we're going to set 2Z equal to the 48. We just have one step to do to solve. We're going to divide by 2 and find out that Z is going to be 24. Now, the measurement of angle L we can go ahead and find as well. The measurement of angle L, all we need to do is plug Z in now that we have Z. So we have 2 times 24, 48, or we know that it's congruent to S, bam, it's right there. Now, to find the sides, to find X and Y, we are going to have to find scale factor, and we're going to use proportions. One of the ratios in the proportions is going to be this scale factor. Let's go ahead and pause and write this down, a note to self. When we find the scale factor, we only have one set of sides we can use before we use small, medium, and large. But here, if we look at triangle JLM, we're seeing that only one has a number value. We have to use side JM. Now, when we look at, we have to make sure we have new over old. If we look at that similarity statement, it tells us which one's new and which one's old. The old is the original one we started with, the first one written. We are going to create the new one. This is always how this is going to be with our similarity statements. So using JM, JM is going to be on the old triangle. So the length of JM is going to go in the denominator. And we need to find out what side it corresponds with. Well, JM, it's going to be the outer 2 letters, the first and the last letter. So we need to look at the first and last letter of the new, and that will be side QT. So QT over here is going to be a 2, and then the JM is that 4. So our scale factor is going to be 1/2. So let's take a look at how we solve for X using the proportions. X is over here with side LM. So we're going to go ahead and write down the scale factor. We're going to have 1/2, and we're going to set it equal to the ratio of these sides. Now, remember, LM is on the old, so 6x minus 3 has to go in the denominator. We have to keep corresponding parts in the same places here. Then when we look at LM's corresponding part, LM are the last 2 letters, it's going to correspond with ST, which ST over here is going to be 3. I'm going to go ahead and write that. I meant to write that beforehand, but we got ST in the numerator, and we have LM in the denominator. Now we're going to use our proportions, and we're going to cross multiply. Cross multiplying here, we're going to wind up with 6x minus 3 equal to, cross multiplying here, 6. We add that 3 to both sides. 6x will equal 9. Yes, we will get a decimal. Divide by 6. X is going to wind up equaling 1.5. Let's look at y. We're going to do the same thing. Now with y, we need to look at the newer triangle, QST, but we need to figure out what side it corresponds with. Over here, it's going to correspond with JL. JL are the first two letters. It's going to correspond with QS. Remember, QS has to go in the numerator, the new, and then JL will go in the denominator. Let's set up our scale factor here. I'm going to rewrite that a little bit smaller. Sorry, guys. I want to leave myself room for the work. Now let's look at side QS. Side QS right here is going to be the 5, and it will go over JL, which is 3y minus 2. All right, set up. We got a proportion set up. Let's go ahead and cross multiply. 3y minus 2 equal to 2 times 5 is 10. We just have 2 steps to solve. Add the 2. 3y equals 12. And then divide by 3. The last thing we want for this is going to be the length of JL. So we take a look at JL right here. We have the 3y minus 2. So we're going to take the 3y minus 2. We're going to remove y, and we're going to substitute in for what y was, that 4. And we end up finding out this will be 10.